Hey everybody, welcome back to Foreverland. This is going to be episode 2 of our countdown to Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration series. If you missed part 1, we did a video on Animal Kingdom and the history and everything you kind of need to know about Animal Kingdom. So in today's video, we are going to cover everything that you need to know about Hollywood Studios, its conception, what the lands and the rides are, and any fun information that you might want to know about Hollywood Studios. I have it all coming up for you here. So before we get started, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to our channel, and leave any comments below if you like Hollywood Studios or if you could kind of pass on it for the day. We'd love to know. All right, let's get started. So let's first start off by saying that trying to organize my thoughts to talk about the park with the largest identity crisis was daunting to say the least. So let's just dive into a brief summary of what Disney's Hollywood Studios currently is and what you can expect to experience throughout your day at the park. So the park's current state, I'd say, is that it's Disney's park for its acquired IP, such as Star Wars, Muppets, Pixar, which is, I guess, still loosely based around movies, I guess. But, I mean, in one day here, you can shrink down to the size of a toy and play in Andy's backyard, travel to uncharted planets and try to save the galaxy in Batuu, or you can go on a new adventure in the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse. Overall, Disney's Hollywood Studios is finally, after a little over 30 years, coming into its own and really making an impact on guest experience at Walt Disney World. So let's go back to the beginning and talk about why it took so long to get here. I do want to start out by saying that the reason I think Hollywood Studios was in such an identity crisis from the beginning and for so long was to no fault of its own, but simply for the fact that this park was built as a we can do it too park in response to the Universal Studios Florida project. In 1987, the then Disney CEO Michael Eisner, who was previously the CEO at Paramount Pictures when Universal pitched their Florida park idea several years earlier in hopes to partner up and combine film rights to be featured in the park, announced intentions to create Disney's own studio-themed park at Walt Disney World. The new area would be called Disney MGM Studios and was a preemptive move to counter Universal's planned introduction into the Orlando market. Although Universal publicly announced their Florida park intentions prior to Eisner's announcement, Disney was in a better position to fast-track construction and open its park sooner. Disney's Hollywood Studios was originally developed as both a theme park that was inspired by show business and an operating production studio. The production studio was an active film and television production service, an animation facility branch of the Walt Disney Animation Studios in Burbank, California, and it had a functioning backlot. Some notable movies and TV shows that you might know were produced at what was known as the East Coast Hollywood include Mulan, Lilo and Stitch, and Newsies. In 2004, Michael Eisner downsized Disney's Florida project operations by closing the animation studio, laying off personnel, and then moving all remaining operations back to the main animation studio in Burbank. One setback to the creation of the park, though, was Disney had a pretty small library of films back in the 80s, so to increase public interest and the variety of film representation within the park, Disney entered into a 20-year licensing agreement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, from which the park's original name was derived. I won't go into the lawsuit and subsequent counter-lawsuit between Disney and MGM only 3 years into the contract, but I highly recommend you go look it up, or maybe we'll do another video about it because it just kind of adds to the mess that was Disney's MGM Studios. The park's production facilities were eventually removed throughout the 2000s, and many of the park's sound stages were retrofitted for newer attractions and guest use. The park's current name took effect in 2008 with the removal of MGM branding throughout the park. And in the 2010s, the park began to distance itself from the original studio backlot intention and entered a new direction of immersive theming and attraction development inspired by Hollywood movies. The park's icon was originally the Eiffel Tower from the park's opening until 2001, when the beloved Sorcerer's Mickey hat was erected in the park's central hub. It then served as the park's icon until its removal in January of 2015. As of 2018, the park has hosted 11,258 million guests, ranking it the 5th most visited theme park in North America and the 9th most visited theme park in the world. Like the rest of the Disney parks, Hollywood Studios is no different in when it comes to categorizing its areas by lands. So let's get into the different lands and attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios and what they have to offer. You start off your day by walking down Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood Boulevard is inspired by the real street of the same name and serves as the park's Main Street entrance and operates in the same vein as Main Street USA at the Magic Kingdom. It is lined with themed streetscape facades and venues selling Disney merchandise and park services. The Starbucks is also at the very end of Hollywood Boulevard. Guests enter through the main entrance gate, which resembles the Pan Pacific Auditorium. This auditorium was a landmark structure in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles, California. Near the park's gate is a recreation of the Crossroads of the World Tower. The original Crossroads of the World is an open-air mall on Sunset Boulevard and Las Palmas in Los Angeles. Live street entertainment and seasonal parades travel down the boulevard throughout the day, depending on what time of year it is. At the far end of Hollywood Boulevard stands an exact replica of Grauman's Chinese Theater, which now houses Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, a dark ride that is themed to the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse animated shorts. The theater originally hosted the land's last remaining opening day attraction and original concept for the park, the Great Movie Ride. To the right of the hub near the entrance to the animation Courtyard resides the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant, a themed replica of the original Brown Derby restaurant located in Hollywood, California. Next, let's talk about Echo Lake. Inspired by the similarly named neighborhood in Los Angeles, is designed to mimic the suburban, crazy California form of architecture from Hollywood's golden age and is anchored around the area's namesake lake. Echo Lake includes 3 major attractions based on characters and films. Star Tours The Adventures Continues is a 3D motion simulator ride set in the Star Wars universe. The Jedi Training Trials of the Temple, a live-action stage show, invites children to become Padawan learners and receive lightsaber training from a Jedi Master. And lastly, the live-action Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular reenacts various scenes from Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark while illustrating how professional film stunts are performed. The Hyperion Theater houses, for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration, a musical show based on Disney's 2013 animated film, Frozen. Behind this building lies a subsection named Commissary Lane that connects Hollywood Boulevard directly to Grand Avenue and bypasses Echo Lake altogether. In this area resides ABC Commissary and the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater restaurant, a dinner theater with a retro-style theme featuring vintage car-themed tables and a large movie screen featuring continuous clips of science fiction films from the 1950s. Moving along onto Grand Avenue, Grand Avenue is themed as a gentrified historic district inspired by the real location of the same name in downtown Los Angeles. The area is anchored by Muppet Vision 3D, a 4D film attraction starring the Muppets from Jim Henson's The Muppet Show that is presented at the Grand Arts Theater within the Avenue's Grand Park itself, also inspired by the real park of the same name. Grand Avenue is also home to Pizza Rizzo, a Brooklyn-style pizza restaurant owned by Rizzo the Rat, Mama Melrose's Ristorante Italiano, and Baseline Tap House, a modern California-styled pub. The main street of Grand Avenue leads into a recreation of Figueroa Street Tunnel, which connects to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Grand Avenue was originally planned as a themed area called Muppet Studios, following Disney's acquisition of the Jim Henson Company. In addition to Muppet Vision 3D, the area was to include a themed restaurant and a Muppet Dark Ride parody of the Great Movie Ride. The deal unfortunately fell through after Henson's death, and only Muppet Vision 3D was developed. The realized Muppet-themed section became a part of the park's former Streets of America area, which encompassed several attractions, including the urban street amalgamation of New York City and San Francisco. The area's namesake street facades were formerly the park's working backlot set, which was originally a component of the park's inaugural Studio Backlot Tour, and it opened to pedestrian traffic in the mid-1990s. This area permanently closed, though, on April 2nd of 2016. The Muppet-themed areas and a single remaining block of the Streets of America facades were reincorporated into the Muppet Courtyard, which served as a placeholder destination until Grand Avenue was completed in September of 2017. Now let's head down to Sunset Boulevard. Inspired by the real thoroughfare of the same name, as well as the film of the same name, was the first expansion of the park, opening in July of 1994. The focal point of Sunset Boulevard is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, a thrill ride based on Rod Serling's The Twilight Zone. Located nearby is Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, an indoor darkened roller coaster themed to the music of Aerosmith with 3 inversions and a high-speed launch. Sunset Boulevard also has 2 outdoor amphitheaters and 1 indoor theater. The Covered Theater of the Stars hosts Beauty and the Beast live on stage, a stage show featuring highlights from the animated film. The larger open-air Hollywood Hills Amphitheater is the home of my favorite show, Fantasmic, a nighttime show featuring Mickey Mouse and many other Disney characters in a story with fireworks, lasers, and water effects. The completely indoor Sunset Showcase hosts Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy and features Lightning McQueen and the other car characters teaching rookie racers about the lessons they've learned while racing. Next, let's step on down the Animation Courtyard. It is home to attractions based on films and characters created by Walt Disney Animation Studios. Its entrance is marked by a square studio arch. This section of the park was originally the starting point for the Studio Backlot Tour. The former Magic of Disney Animation building hosts Star Wars Launch Bay, a Star Wars exhibit featuring behind-the-scenes props and character meet-and-greets with Darth Vader, Chewbacca, and even BB-8. Mickey Avenue, a subsection of Animation Courtyard, is home to a walkthrough exhibit, Walt Disney Presents, which explores the life and legacy of Walt Disney himself through photos, models, artifacts, and a short biographical film narrated by the one and only Julie Andrews. The Courtyard section also hosts 2 live shows. Disney Junior Dance Party, which entertains guests with characters from Disney Junior series including Mickey and the Roadster Racers, Vampirina, Doc McStuffins, and the Lion Guard. And across the plaza, Voyage of the Little Mermaid uses glow-in-the-dark puppets, lasers, music, projectors, human actors, and water effects to recreate favorite scenes and songs from the 1989 animated film. Next up is Toy Story Land, one of the newest additions to the park. This land opened on June 30th, 2018, and is inspired by Pixar's Toy Story series. This 11-acre area is themed to Andy's backyard with 3 attractions, each hosted by characters from the series. The attractions include Toy Story Mania, an interactive 4D attraction inspired by classic Carnival Midway games, Slinky Dog Dash, an outdoor roller coaster, and Alien Swirling Saucers, a spinning teacup-type ride. Toy Story Midway Mania was originally a standalone attraction within Pixar Place, an area that is dedicated to the films and characters created by Pixar, resembling the animation studio's Emeryville, California campus. Pixar Place was also the home of Luxo Jr., a 6-foot-tall audio animatronic version of Pixar's desk lamp mascot. The moving character performed periodic shows throughout the day and evening across from Toy Story Midway Mania. And rounding out our lands is the newest land at Hollywood Studios, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This land is set within the Star Wars universe at the Black Spire Outpost Village on the remote frontier planet of Batuu. Attractions here include Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, a dark ride that places guests in a climactic battle between the First Order and the Resistance, and the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, a flying simulator attraction that allows guests to pilot the Millennium Falcon through a customized secret mission on behalf of Hondo Ohnaka and Chewbacca. Restaurants and shops here include Oga's Cantina, Savi's Workshop, and the Droid Depot. Opening in 2019, the land is the newest addition to the park, replacing the park's former Streets of America section. This 14-acre area costed an estimated $1 billion to build. With adjusted inflation, it is about the same sticker price that the entire park took to build back in 1989. So there you have it, guys, a recap of Disney's Hollywood Studios history, conception, and overall identity crisis. So we hope you really liked this video, guys. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and like I said at the beginning, leave any comments below on if you think Hollywood Studios is worth it. I think the past 2 lands that they have added to the park really help bring it into its own, especially with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments. All right, guys, it has been a pleasure. We will come at you next week with our 3rd video in this series that we will talk about Epcot opening day attractions, lands, pavilions, the World Showcase, and anything that you can think of that you would want to hear about Epcot leading up to Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, all ending out with a video on Magic Kingdom coming out on October 1st. So like I said, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and leave some comments down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.